sweet discovery. In a quiet green valley on Earth, 3 tiny alien cubs landed with their small, glowing spaceship. Their names were Zibi, Luno, and Kiki. They had soft fur, big sparkling eyes, and curious hearts. While exploring the forest, a sweet smell floated through the air. The cubs followed the scent slowly and carefully. Soon they saw a colorful box near a picnic table. Inside the box were soft, fluffy cupcakes. First taste. Zibi carefully picked up a cupcake with blue frosting. The cubs had never seen such food before. Luno sniffed it and smiled. Kiki giggled excitedly. Zibi took a tiny bite. His eyes widened with joy. The cupcake was sweet, soft, and magical to their taste. "This is amazing," Zibi said happily. Soon the other cubs grabbed their own cupcakes and tasted them too. Cupcake happiness. The alien cubs sat together on the grass, enjoying the cupcakes. Pink frosting covered Kiki's tiny nose, making everyone laugh. Luno loved the chocolate cupcake the most. Zibi liked the rainbow sprinkles. They had traveled across stars and planets, but never tasted anything this delicious. The cubs decided cupcakes must be Earth's greatest treasure. They promised to find more of these sweet treats, searching for more. After finishing the cupcakes, the cubs wanted more. They followed the sweet smell through the forest path. Butterflies fluttered around them as the sun shined warmly. Suddenly, they saw a small house with colorful decorations. From the window came the same cupcake smell. The cubs peeked inside carefully. A kind baker was placing fresh cupcakes on a table. The kind baker. The baker, an old woman named Mrs. Lily, noticed the tiny alien cubs at her window. Instead of being scared, she smiled warmly. "Well, hello, little visitors," she said gently. The cubs waved shyly. Mrs. Lily guessed they liked cupcakes. She brought a tray outside and offered them some. The cubs' eyes sparkled with excitement and gratitude. Learning about cupcakes, Mrs. Lily showed the cubs how cupcakes were made. She mixed flour, sugar, milk, and eggs in a bowl. The cubs watched carefully. Kiki tried stirring the batter and giggled as it splashed a little. Luno helped sprinkle sugar on top. Zibi carefully placed colorful toppings. Soon the cupcakes were ready to bake in the warm oven. Waiting time. While the cupcakes baked, the cubs sat near the kitchen window. A warm smell filled the air. Zibi's stomach growled loudly, making everyone laugh. Mrs. Lily told them stories about baking for children in the village. The cubs listened happily. They felt warm and safe in the cozy kitchen, fresh cupcakes. Finally, the oven bell rang. Mrs. Lily opened the oven carefully. Inside were fresh golden cupcakes with fluffy tops. The cubs clapped excitedly. She placed colorful frosting on each cupcake. Chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla. The cubs could hardly wait, sharing joy. The cubs tasted the fresh cupcakes. They were even better than before. Kiki danced happily on the table. Luno hummed a little alien song. Zibi thanked Mrs. Lily kindly. The baker felt happy seeing their joy a new friendship. Mrs. Lily realized the cubs were friendly travelers. She promised to bake cupcakes whenever they visited. The cubs promised to share stories from space. A beautiful friendship began that day. The secret garden. After enjoying the cupcakes, Mrs. Lily showed the alien cubs her beautiful garden behind the house. Bright flowers grew everywhere, and bees buzzed gently in the warm sunlight. Zibi noticed strawberries growing in a small patch. "These look sweet," he said. Mrs. Lily smiled and picked a few ripe strawberries. "Perfect for cupcake toppings," she explained. The cubs happily helped collect the fruit, decorating fun. Back in the kitchen, Mrs. Lily placed fresh cupcakes on the table. She gave the cubs bowls of frosting and fruit. Kiki carefully placed strawberries on top. Luno added chocolate chips and sprinkles. Zibi made a cupcake that looked like a tiny alien face. Everyone laughed happily. Decorating cupcakes became a fun game for them all. A sweet surprise. Suddenly, a small village boy named Tom knocked on the door. He had come to buy cupcakes. When he saw the alien cubs, his eyes widened in surprise. But instead of being afraid, he smiled. "Wow, they're cute," he said. The cubs waved shyly. Mrs. Lily gave Tom a cupcake, and he happily shared one with the cubs too. New friends. Tom quickly became friends with the alien cubs. He showed them how children in the village played games outside. They ran across the grass, laughing and chasing butterflies. Kiki tried to fly a kite with Tom. Luno rolled down a small hill and giggled loudly. It was one of the happiest days the cubs had ever experienced. Cupcake picnic. Tom suggested having a picnic. Mrs. Lily packed a basket full of cupcakes and fruit. They walked to a peaceful meadow under a large tree. Birds sang softly in the branches above. The cubs sat on a blanket with Tom and Mrs. Lily. Everyone shared cupcakes while enjoying the sunny afternoon. Stories from space. While eating, Zibi began telling stories about their home planet. He described glowing forests and floating rivers of light. Tom listened with amazement. Luno explained how their spaceship could travel faster than light. Kiki talked about alien games played on their planet. Mrs. Lily smiled as she listened to their magical adventures. A little problem. Suddenly, Kiki looked worried. "Oh no," she said softly. The cubs realized their spaceship energy was running low. Without energy, they could not return home. Zibi felt sad, but Mrs. Lily gently placed a cupcake in his hand. "Don't worry," she said kindly. "We will figure something out together." The sweet idea. Tom suddenly had an idea. "Maybe cupcakes can help," he said jokingly. Everyone laughed, but Luno looked curious. The cubs' spaceship used special sugar crystals for energy. Mrs. Lily's cupcakes were full of sugar. Maybe the sweetness could help power the ship, testing the plan. The group walked to the forest where the tiny spaceship was hidden. It shimmered softly between the trees. Luno carefully placed some cupcake crumbs into the small energy slot. Lights flickered inside the ship. The cubs gasped with excitement. The sweet sugar worked as fuel. The ship awakens. Slowly, the spaceship lights grew brighter. The tiny engine hummed softly. Zibi jumped with joy. "It works," he shouted. The cupcakes had given the spaceship new energy. Mrs. Lily and Tom clapped happily. Who knew cupcakes could power a spaceship? A sweet celebration. To celebrate the working spaceship, Mrs. Lily decided to bake a fresh batch of cupcakes. The kitchen quickly filled with warm, sweet smells. Tom helped mix the batter while the alien cubs added colorful sprinkles. Kiki giggled as flour landed on her nose. Luno carefully stirred the bowl, and Zibi placed the tray into the oven. Everyone felt joyful, knowing teamwork and kindness had solved the problem, learning Earth recipes. Mrs. Lily opened her special recipe book and began teaching the alien cubs more baking secrets. She showed them how vanilla made cupcakes smell wonderful and how cocoa created rich chocolate flavor. Luno carefully measured sugar with a tiny spoon. Kiki mixed butter and flour together happily. Zibi watched the oven temperature closely. The cubs loved learning Earth recipes and dreamed of baking cupcakes on their own planet someday. Curious village visitors. News about the friendly alien cubs spread quickly through the nearby village. Soon, curious people came to Mrs. Lily's bakery. Instead of fear, they felt excitement and wonder. The cubs waved politely and offered cupcakes to visitors. Children laughed happily while tasting the sweet treats. The bakery became a cheerful place filled with smiles. Everyone loved the idea that tiny visitors from space also loved Earth cupcakes. The cupcake helpers. The alien cubs decided to help Mrs. Lily in the bakery every day. Zibi carefully arranged cupcakes on display trays. Luno mixed batter in a big bowl with steady paws. Kiki added bright sprinkles and fruit on top. Tom greeted customers at the door. The bakery became famous for its delicious cupcakes and adorable alien helpers. People traveled from far places just to see them. A busy and happy bakery. Every morning the bakery smelled like warm sugar and fresh bread. Long lines of visitors waited outside to buy cupcakes. The alien cubs worked hard but always smiled. Kiki loved handing cupcakes to children. Luno carefully packed boxes for families. Zibi proudly watched the oven. Mrs. Lily felt proud of her little helpers. The tiny bakery had become the happiest place in the village, night under the stars. That evening, the cubs and Tom lay on the soft grass outside the bakery. The sky was clear and full of shining stars. Zibi pointed toward a faint, glowing star far away. "That is our home planet," he said softly. Tom looked amazed and quiet. The cubs felt both happy and a little homesick while remembering their distant world among the stars, missing home. As the cool night breeze moved through the trees, the cubs talked about their planet. Luno described glowing forests and floating crystal rivers. Kiki remembered playing with alien friends under purple skies. Zibi looked thoughtful. Earth had been kind and full of sweet cupcakes, but their home planet was still waiting for them. Tom listened quietly, understanding that travelers sometimes miss the places they love. A special gift. The next morning, Mrs. Lily gave the alien cubs a small gift. It was a handmade recipe book filled with her best cupcake recipes. Each page had colorful drawings and simple instructions. "Take this to your planet," she said kindly. "You can bake cupcakes there too." The cubs hugged her happily. It was the most thoughtful gift they had ever received. Preparing the journey, the cubs walked back to their tiny spaceship hidden in the forest. The ship's lights were bright again, thanks to the cupcake's sugar energy. Zibi checked the controls carefully. Luno packed a small box full of cupcakes for the trip. Kiki placed Mrs. Lily's recipe book safely inside the cabin. Their journey home was finally ready to begin. A warm goodbye. Tom and Mrs. Lily came to the forest to say goodbye. The cubs felt emotional as they hugged their new friends. Tom promised he would always remember their adventures. Mrs. Lily smiled warmly and gave them one last box of cupcakes. "Visit us again someday," she said kindly. The cubs waved as they stepped into their glowing spaceship, ready for the stars. Alien Cupcake sparkles a promise to return. Before closing the spaceship door, Zibi looked at Tom and Mrs. Lily with grateful eyes. "We will come back one day," he promised softly. Luno nodded happily while Kiki waved both tiny paws. Their new friends smiled warmly. The cubs knew this small village would always be special to them. It was the place where they discovered kindness, friendship, and the sweetest cupcakes in the whole universe. Launch countdown. Inside the spaceship, colorful lights blinked across the control panel. Luno carefully pressed the start button while Zibi checked the navigation screen. Kiki sat by the window watching Tom and Mrs. Lily below. The engine began to hum softly, shaking the leaves around the forest. The tiny ship slowly lifted from the ground as glowing blue light surrounded it like magic, rising into the sky. The spaceship floated higher and higher above the tall trees. Tom and Mrs. Lily waved their hands as the cubs waved back through the window. Soon the village became smaller below them. The cubs looked down one last time at the bakery and the peaceful meadow. Earth had been full of wonderful memories and sweet surprises among the stars. Soon the spaceship reached the dark sky, filled with bright stars. The earth looked like a beautiful blue marble far below. Kiki pressed her face against the window in amazement. Luno guided the ship toward their home planet using glowing star maps. Zibi smiled quietly while holding the cupcake recipe book. Their journey across space had begun again. Cupcakes in space. During the long journey, the cubs opened the cupcake box Mrs. Lily had packed for them. The sweet smell filled the spaceship cabin. Kiki happily ate a strawberry cupcake while Luno chose chocolate. Zibi laughed softly. Even in the middle of space, Earth's cupcakes tasted just as wonderful. The cubs felt comforted by the sweet reminder of their friends' arrival at home planet. After traveling through many stars, the cubs finally saw their glowing home planet ahead. Purple clouds floated above shining crystal mountains. The spaceship gently landed near their village. Other alien cubs ran toward them with excitement. Zibi, Luno, and Kiki had returned home safely after their amazing adventure on Earth, sharing Earth's sweet secret. The cubs gathered their alien friends and showed them the cupcakes they had brought. Everyone was curious about the strange Earth dessert. When they tasted the cupcakes, their eyes sparkled with joy. The sweet flavor was unlike anything they had ever eaten before. Soon, all the alien cubs wanted to learn how to make cupcakes too, baking on another world. Using Mrs. Lily's recipe book, the cubs began baking cupcakes on their planet. Alien kitchens filled with the smell of sugar and chocolate. Luno carefully followed the instructions while Kiki decorated the cupcakes with glowing alien sprinkles. Zibi proudly watched their friends enjoy the new treat. Earth cupcakes had now reached another world, remembering their friends. Even though they were home, the cubs often looked at the stars and remembered Tom and Mrs. Lily. Zibi kept the recipe book safe, like a treasure. Sometimes they baked cupcakes and told stories about their Earth adventure. Their friends listened with wonder, dreaming about the beautiful blue planet full of kindness. Sweet friendship across the universe. Far away on Earth, Mrs. Lily still baked cupcakes in her cozy bakery. Tom sometimes looked at the night sky and smiled. Somewhere among those stars were 3 little alien cubs who loved cupcakes. Even though they lived on different worlds, their friendship remained strong. Because sometimes a simple cupcake can connect hearts across the entire universe. Cupcake Alien Sparkles.